Buenos días, les saludamos aquí desde el norte de Alemania en la estación de investigación y ensayos Asendorf de la compañía DSV. Para los que todavía no nos conocen, somos una empresa internacional de la mejora genética, producción y distribución de semillas. La compañía cuenta con casi 100 años de historia y la sede central se encuentra en el oeste de Alemania, en la ciudad de Lippstadt. 700 empleados y 1.500 productores generan anualmente alrededor de 52.000 toneladas de semillas de gran pureza y alta calidad. A continuación, nuestro compañero Alexander nos va a dar una pequeña introducción en los últimos avances de la colza primaveral.
Welcome everybody to DSV in Germany. DSV is one of the leading companies in oilseed in Europe. We have a long history of oilseed breeding. So we started our winter oilseed breeding program in 1968 and our spring oilseed breeding in 1971. So today we are in Asendorf. This is close to Bremen in the north of Germany, in our breeding station for spring oilseed rape. And here in the station we also, beside the spring oilseed rape breeding, we have a turf grass breeding, and we also have testing for our winter oilseed rape. So this location is a quite maritime climate. So we have about 750 millimeters of rainfall a year, and we have an annual climate of 9.3 centigrades per year. So it means we have quite mild temperatures also for German conditions. So this field is a sandy loam, so for German conditions it's a medium quality, and in total in our station in Asendorf we have about 200 hectares of nurseries and field trials, and this is our demo trial for spring oilseed rape. In this field we have on the one hand side our current sales portfolio, all the varieties that we are sales globally, and also the new candidates. And in the background you can see up to the forest, this is one of our main trials where there are several thousand plots where we test our new candidates that will be our future varieties in the next 5 to 10 years. The main breeding goal in oilseed rape is clearly grain yield, but we are also breeding for oil content, as oilseed rape is an oil crop. But we see that the climate is more and more changing and the weather is getting more and more extreme. Therefore we are also breeding for more yield stabilizing factors like a good drought resistance, like good lodging resistance, and also medium plant height. And what was not in the focus so much a few years ago was also disease resistance. Since we are also active in South America, in other parts of the world, we are also more and more focusing on breeding for disease resistance. And one very important disease resistance is for FOMA. This is not a big topic in Europe due to the climate conditions, but we see that it's of a very high importance in other parts of the world. So one very important segment in the spring oilseed rape breeding is Clearfield. So we have also many varieties in our Clearfield portfolio. We have well-known varieties like Solar CL, which was introduced a couple of years ago, and it's really one of our main products in the Clearfield segment. But also in this area breeding process is going on, and we see important growing importance of Clearfield. So we see that the importance of Clearfield varieties are growing in many countries of the world. One of our first Clearfield varieties in the portfolio was Solar CL. So it's quite now, it's a couple of years old, but it's still a standard variety in many markets, and it's one of our benchmarks. So this is a stable product, but not the newest one. What I want to show you today is our new portfolio, our new varieties with improved grain yield and also improved oil content. LACL has a medium to long life cycle, so it means maturity is medium to a little bit later. From the plant type we see that it's a higher biomass type, so plants can grow quite tall, but the stem stiffness is quite good, so lodging resistance of this variety is pretty good. And also, even though it's a quite old variety, the oil content in the seed is on a very good level already today. Cipra CL is one of our newest Clearfield spring oilseed rape varieties, and it's the successor of Solar CL. So we see a big step forward in the breeding gain over the last years. So it's really a step forward in grain yield, but also in oil content. From the plant type, it is quite similar to Solar CL. It is a little bit earlier in maturity, as you can see, though the crop is already turning now. But it's also more a high biomass type. with a little bit taller plants, but a very good lodging resistance. From the disease resistance, I would say it is more or less comparable to Solars-CL, so it has a solid tolerance to FOMA and also in general it has a quite good plant health. So Cypra-CL is now in the second year's official trials in Uruguay, and before this we also tested it 1 year in Uruguay and also in 2 years in Argentina before. So we are really convinced that Cypra-CL is a variety very well adapted to the climate conditions in the north of Argentina and also in Uruguay. XXIV is the second clearfield variety in the second year of trials in Uruguay. So together with Cypra-CL, it's a little bit a different plant type than the two varieties I have shown before. It's a little bit shorter, a bit more compact than Solars-CL and Cypra-CL, but from the yield potential it is at the same level as I have shown for Cypra-CL. The maturity is a little bit earlier, so means that XXIV has a slightly shorter life cycle. So this, to our previous experiences in Argentina and Uruguay, we see that also XXIV is a perfect fit for the conditions in Uruguay and Argentina. From the disease resistance, it is more or less the same level as we know it from Solars-CL and Cypra, so it has a good and solid tolerance against FOMA. XXIV is the newest clearfield variety in our portfolio. It is in the first year trials in Uruguay and it's a completely different type than all our other varieties. It is significantly shorter, it is a very compact plant type with a very good lodging resistance. It is also a variety with a very short life cycle, means maturity is very early and earlier than we know it from our well-known varieties like Solars-CL. And very important for Uruguay and also other countries of South America is that also the FOMA resistance is significantly improved. So with these new varieties we see that yield stability is getting better and better, and also we profit from the breeding gain. We see that with every generation of breeding also yield is increasing, and therefore our new varieties, they are better in yield, have a better oil content, have better disease resistance, and very important for farmers globally, they have a better yield stability. DSV oilseed rape is sold in South America for many years now, and the most popular variety is Smilla. We sell Smilla in Argentina and Uruguay for some years, and it proved that it's a very stable variety under South American conditions. And Smilla is a good all-round variety. We know that it fits to nearly all soil qualities, and also the plant type is medium in many terms. So it's a medium plant height, also medium to early maturity, and with this characteristics it fits to many conditions. The most well-known spring oilseed rape variety in South America is Smilla, and we sell Smilla for many years now. So it is a medium variety in terms of plant height, it is a medium to early variety in terms of maturity, and it's a very stable variety. So over many years it proved that it's really adapted to the conditions in Uruguay and also in Argentina. Even though that Smilla is not our newest variety, it is still one of our most sold products in South America, but also in countries like Russia. And it really, the unique point is that it's very stable in yield, and it's an all-round variety for many farmers. So farmers like the high oil content, like the very good grain yield, and also like the very good disease resistance, like a very solid FOMA tolerance. So we are now in front of Lumen. This is one of our newest hybrids in the non-herbicide tolerant segment. Lumen is a successor of Smilla. We have very similar plant types. It is also a more compact plant type with a very good lodging resistance. And from maturity we are in a medium to medium early segment. From our private trials we know that Lumen fits very well to the conditions in Argentina and in Uruguay. And in Uruguay it's also in the second year trials now. And we expect a registration very soon, and we believe that Lumen is the new star for Uruguay. Seed quality is key in oilseed rape. So today all our spring oilseed rape is produced in Europe, and we get the seed to Lippstadt for processing, and seedlots that come to us must go through a dense quality control. Every seedlot is checked for impurities, is checked for germination rate, and is also checked for adventitious presence. So means that all the seed that we checked is quality controlled for 100%.
Muchísimas gracias por su atención y para tener más información, por favor no duden en contactar a nuestros compañeros en Sudamérica.